Hey up guys! So today's movie I'm going to be reviewing is the latest in the Matrix franchise called The Matrix Resurrections. Lana Wachowski has returned to direct without her sister Lily. Also, Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss have returned to reprise their roles as Neo and Trinity. I was excited for this one. I'm a huge fan of the first Matrix. It's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I wasn't a fan of the sequels that followed, but the trailer for Resurrections looked quite promising. What did I think of it? Yikes. Just gonna be honest, I wasn't a fan of The Matrix Resurrections. I was disappointed. But I was kind of expecting to be disappointed. I know this film has its fans, and that's great. I'm very happy it has a passionate fan base. And I also know that there's a lot of metaphor in Matrix Resurrections about the trans and non-binary experience, and that's also great. But as a moviegoer, this film just didn't work for me. It was nice to see Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss reunited on screen together again, and the visual effects and the sound in this film was good. But that's pretty much all I enjoyed about this film. The original Matrix was a groundbreaking, game-changing, revolutionary film which changed the trajectory of cinema forever. It transcended being more than just a super cool, action-packed sci-fi film. It made us think differently about the world. It's a film which is still analysed, discussed, and studied to this day. It became much bigger than just a movie, and Lana Wachowski knows what type of influence and effect the original Matrix had on the world. So the way that she's approached this new reboot or sequel, whatever you want to call it, is in a very self-aware fashion. The script for Matrix Resurrections is so meta and self-analyzing of the previous films to the point where I found it grating. Oh look, the characters are pointing out the similarities to the first Matrix. I guess they're in on the joke. It's like the writers think that being self-aware gives the film a free pass or get out of jail free card. Just because you're the one pointing it out doesn't make it clever. It just deflects criticism by you being the one to point it out first. And I get what Lana Wachowski is trying to say, but the execution of it is just so ham-fisted. I also thought that both Jonathan Groff and Neil Patrick Harris were miscast in their roles. Jonathan Groff, who plays this version's Agent Smith, he doesn't possess 1/10 of Hugo Weaving's menace. They also gave him some really atrocious dialogue, and I'm not just talking about that Warner Brothers line, you'll know it when it happens, but when was Agent Smith ever obsessed with vanity? There's a line in this where he talks about his appearance being an upgrade and how he's got these piercing blue eyes. It's just like, who gives a fuck? The previous Agent Smith never gave a shit about that. Why does he care about it now? Wait till you hear how Jonathan Groff delivers the Mr. Anderson line, and it's just, no. And it's a similar problem for Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as the new Morpheus, and the first line that he says to Neo. It's just cringy. The action scenes in this weren't as dynamic or impressive. The Wachowskis are legitimately some of the best in the business when it comes to shooting action sequences. They use a lot of wides, one takes, you can see the actors doing their own stunts. But in Matrix Resurrections, it doesn't even feel like a Wachowski shot this. It feels like it could have been shot by anyone who's made an action movie in the 2010s era. It's just a lot of choppy, frantic editing. I did think, is it because Keanu Reeves is a bit older and doesn't have the same sort of stamina to shoot those types of scenes like that anymore? But then I thought, he still does a lot of his own stunts in the John Wick movies, so it didn't really make sense to me. I was hoping that the film was building to an action set piece at the end of the film which would be on the same level as the lobby shootout in the first film or the freeway chase in the second one, but what do we get? Just bodies falling from the sky like rain, and it just felt very meh. The film also didn't answer enough questions, and when it tried to answer some questions, characters would have wishy-washy answers like, that's not something I can easily explain. Those are answers to questions I don't have. It's just like, oh, well, that's convenient. The opening to this film was so confusing, so much of it I didn't understand, which is weird because it's kind of a retread of the opening from the first Matrix. And it wasn't just me. There were people in the cinema behind me who literally exclaimed, that don't make no sense. And that's another thing to mention. There were quite a few walkouts of this film in the screening that I was in, and there were times I could hear audible scoffing, people derisively sighing and ugh, and like you could collectively hear people's eyes rolling at some of the dialogue in this film. So much of the dialogue in this film is atrocious. It's like a high school teacher trying to be down with the kids by talking like how they talk. Swarm mode is sick fun. Knuckle up and good luck. God. Oh yeah, that's another thing. One character knuckle bumps a robot character. Yep, that happens. None of the new characters I cared about. I can't even tell you the name of the lead girl in this film. One sec. Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick. Honestly, didn't really care for her as a character. Even Yahya Abdul-Mateen II feels lost in this film as the new Morpheus, and I know he had some big shoes to fill. He's a decent actor, but not even his charisma and those loud suits can measure up to the cool, calm, and collected gravitas that was Lawrence Fishburne. This film definitely doesn't feel as cool as the first one. They've opted for blue plastic shades in this one, and I don't think there's any leather in it until like the final scene. And I know that's just a nitpick, but it really is just illustrative of how tired this film feels. The story, the performances, the action set pieces, the music, yeah, the music as well. Like, the original had some great rock songs in the soundtrack, and it really did give the film some attitude, but this one just, it feels very sanitized. There are throwbacks to the original score, but I don't know, just it loses its cyberpunk edge with the choice of songs it uses in the soundtrack. So let's ask them 3 questions. Firstly, would I watch this again? Nope, simple as. I haven't rewatched the other Matrix sequels. I won't be watching this again. No. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? If you're someone like me who was hoping this film might recapture some of the awesomeness of the original Matrix, I'm sad to say it didn't do it for me. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to like this film. But again, part of me doesn't want to discourage people from going back to the cinema. We need to be supporting cinema. So if you do have a desire to watch it, then yeah, go see it in a cinema. Form your own opinion, okay? And question 3, what score do I give it out of 10? The Matrix Resurrection was a disappointment for me. No two ways about it. Yeah, I really didn't like this film. So I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 10. But as always, guys, just one bloke's opinion. Love to hear your thoughts on Matrix Resurrections. Where do you stand on it? I know it's quite a divisive film. Do you love it? Do you hate it? You're somewhere in the middle. Whatever you have to say, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you want more movie, TV, and Oscars-related content, don't forget to click subscribe, and if you want to follow me on social media, all those links in the video description down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Nick Carefield, and I'll see you next time.